Morning everybody, back for a continuation of part 2 of the drill grinding attachment. So for on sword, I'm doing now what I should have done in the first place, make a work sketch. I chose to make the body the same length as the Clarkson workhead, not thinking that it mightn't be. And I finished up cutting an 80mm long piece of scrap that I've squared up in the shaper, absolutely beautiful. And this morning I tried to draw up a convergence diagram of the two axes of the workhead and found out that it's 40mm too short and I won't get the correct wiping action. And luckily that is now the offcut and the offcut is now the workpiece. The piece remaining is 120mm long and that's exactly what I need. So all I've really lost is about an hour I suppose setting up and using the shaper. So the setup's already there, I'll hop into it and half an hour down the track I'll have me the correct size billet. But took a little bit of nutting out, and even this might not be all that correct, but I think it'll be within the realm of the whole thing working. With the shorter head, it just wouldn't converge at the right point. It was converging on the body rather than converging on the end of the chuck, and there just wasn't enough room for the centre pivot and the cam plate at the back. I just could not squeeze it all into the guts of that short piece of billet. So onto the scrap, put it up in a shaper and make it into a bar. I'll bring you back later. And for those of you that doubt the ability of a shaper to be worthwhile, that's a piece of rough bar that I've squared up on all sides and left around the corner so it looks a little bit like a casting. And that probably took me about 40 minutes, including the setup. So it's not too bad, and I was using the lathe in the meantime, scoring off the edge of the tube. So old shapers still have a lot of good metal swarf to make. Back again. Well, back again on the Saturday. I've got most of the materials banged out into shape, so I'll show you those in a second. This is the basic sketch that I took from the line drawing and multiplied by 6.7. It's 120mm long instead of 80. So the first bit is now the scrap. I'll be dimensioning this and doing not a full set of design drawings, but enough information for you guys to make one yourself, and I'll be showing each individual part finished as it goes, and before and after welding it all together. But I won't show you too much of my welding, that's for sure. Okay, we'll look at some bits. And back out a little. Okay, on the left you can see the pipe, which will be half cut away to make the column that all this stands on, and it's on the base that will swivel on the base plate, which is under the main block there. The original plate I pulled out of a bunch of scrap, and I thought it was a bit of 12mm plate, but it was 2 bits of 6mm that had been tacked together, so fool me for having the wrong glasses on. The big block in the middle will be the workhead. On top of that is a stubby piece that will go in between the two pivot bearing blocks, I think you'd call them, and a bit of round on the left will be going between those two blocks for the axle to go through. And I have a piece of, I think, a 16mm 4140 that I'll use for an axle there. And the rectangular piece on the right will be what I'll make the two standoffs with. They'll be machined at 20 degrees on the bottom, placed on the block and then welded in place. So it'll end up being a fairly rigid item. I think that we should get no vibration out of it. I found a bit of cold roll rod for a handle and I've got brass for a knob so we can make it look a little bit pretty. I'll try and get a bit more done after lunch. It all depends how the heat affects me. Bye for now. Please like and subscribe if this is the last section. Just a word here for the new guys. I've got a few stub drills in my kit, and I find for jobs like this where I'm just putting a radius in for stress relieving before I cut the tube, I don't have to center drill. They drill a nice clean hole. As long as you're steady on the exit, just one big fab clamp's enough to hold it in place. So keep varying sizes, 3/16, 5/16 and ½ inch. You'll find they're bloody useful. Here's another job on the way. The guts is cut out of the column. I've got to put a semicircular divot at each end of the top for the main pivot bush to be sighted into. But it's too hot today, it's 36 degrees, and I've got grinding shite all over the floor I've got to clean up. Back with some pictures later. Now go back to a little bit more on the drill grinder. I'm set up now to put a radius at the top of the mount that the pivot bar is going to go through. It's much too wide at the top, and I'm just going to machine it back and then cut it down to size. And it's good to use the old borer. I'm very happy to do so. So I'll crank a bit more of the feed in. Manual rapid traverse on this machine. You want to go fast, disconnect the relays. It does get boring in the old manual machines, but I don't mind that. I'm pretty boring too. That's all there is to it, another 200 times. I'll see you next weekend. Please like and subscribe. Hey guys, we'll finish up today's episode. I'm as hot as all hell, plus the temperature's about 36 degrees, so I'm starting to fall over. Wringing wet. The design engineer made a mistake. I thought all the mechanism was swinging off the other side, and this part here has only got to be 1.5 inches wide because the body's going to be swinging either side. So I've raised the prep a little bit so that it impinges more on the back, and next weekend, if I get time, I'll cut down into the body so that the rest of the machinery can swing past, and I'll put a rib down the guts here to stiffen it up a bit. I still think there's going to be plenty of meat, but I forgot that this part of the body moves and swings under it. Oh well, don't follow too closely or you'll make the same mistakes. Let me make them all first. Glad to be working the old Kearns again, although it's a slow thing putting a prep like this on. It's a wonderful machine to work, and reasonably slow, which is good for my reflexes. Okay, like and subscribe, bye for now. Follow this whole fill next week.